Welcome to Cooking with Sarge. I want you to like, I want you to share, and subscribe. God bless you. Welcome to Cooking with Sarge. Want you to like, want you to subscribe, and want you to share. This book came out of my son's mind and my wife. They wanted me to share the recipes that I had compiled all the years in cooking. And my wife pushed me and says, honey, you got to do it. My son edged me on even more. He said, Daddy, you got to do the quarantine. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so that's why we titled it Quarantine Cuisine, based out of all that we dealt with. And it's been over a year. And I just thank God for this opportunity to share with family and friends. Inside the book, there's several different recipes that I admire. This is one of my favorite, the potato salad, baked beans, barbecue chicken, and a little bit of. I put some pulled pork on the side. Some things you do just to make it easy, but it's simple. Just get some beans with some sugar and some butter and blend it. Potato salad is simple. All of the recipes are in here, but this is one of my favorite pictorials. I have another one that I want to share with you. And because some folk like fish, I did the salmon and the rice and the spinach. That's another quick, fast, and hurry to do. And the recipe is right there. There's nothing hard. The only thing that you deal with in cooking is preparation. And you have to get yourself together to make up your mind that you're gonna do that. So it becomes very simple. One more I'm gonna talk about and share is the, and I say because I paused for a moment, is the desserts. Sweet potato pie, peach cobbler, and banana pudding. Those are some of the family faves. My wife was an excellent sweet potato pie maker, so I'm doing some of her put on it, and I say take on it because I infiltrated some of my spices along with hers to make it just taste better. Cooking is something that I picked up as a child. I say child, as a youngster watching my sisters cook, my mama. My mama told me, said, son, it's important that you learn how to do everything. But cooking is one of the basics because you never know. And so I'm grateful to God that I have been allowed the privilege to do just a little bit of cooking. I don't consider myself a chef, but I can cook. And so it is important that we know and understand that God has allowed us this privilege, and I'm grateful for that. I have no culinary experience, didn't go to school or anything, but I learned from watching and listening. My aunt, one did cakes in a skillet. I had another one that used to bake out of, she used to use one of the big pots, and she would blend puddings and stuff like that, cobblers and all of that. So we learned by watching. And so now I've decided that I would do some of these family favorites and compile them in the book. And so I'm praying that as time goes on, that you'll be able to enjoy it. It's an easy to follow recipe for the beginners, and you won't be disappointed. Well, basically I do barbecue ribs, we do pulled pork, we do beef because everybody don't eat pork. And so we try to put some beef in there. We'll either do a whole roast and smother that with barbecue sauce and make it easier so that everybody can have flavor, enjoying themselves. And baked beans is one of our things. My wife always made the potato salad, and now I took on doing that as well. We make deviled eggs. You know, we do a variety of things that go with a picnic. You know, the fabulous hamburger, hot dog. Everybody does that, but my go-to is having some good old ribs, some good old barbecue chicken, and flavorfully making those taste good too, so that everybody can enjoy themselves. It's important to season lightly. Never over season your food, because some people can't take that. So you got to take in consideration of preparing for a group of people. Some people can't have salt, so you got to minimize what you're using. You can use an all-season salt, but lightly, or you could use a vinaigrette. You know how to season your meat or marinate the meat or the vegetables. And in doing that, garlic is a perfect seasoner. It has flavor, and a lot of people don't know that garlic and butter can season anything, and it makes it taste better. Even though old folks say this is salt in everything, but we've learned that you never over season your food. One time we were in the park and we saw a group of guys who were cooking. They took the meat right out of the pack, dropped it right on the grill, and I'm looking, and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "They committing salmonella," and I said, "No, we can't. You can't do stuff like that. It's important that you wash the meat thoroughly." And I say thoroughly because the butcher handles the meat, the butcher cuts the meat, the butcher packages the meat. He may have 3 or 4 helpers in there, but it's his job to make sure that everybody's doing what they got to do in reference to getting the meat out into the cases. But those same guys, sometimes they don't change gloves. They'll use those same gloves to package the meat. That means wrap it. Then they use the tags that come out of the machine to tag the meat. That's the price on the meat. After they do that, then they come and put it on their roller and roll it out and put it in a different section. So when you get it at home, you don't know whose hands have been on it. So therefore, you got to take time out to always prep and clean the meat, make sure that you sanitize, and you don't use the same cloth, or you don't use the same area when you're cleaning. Once you clean that area, you put that meat on a tray, you move it. If you're gonna do chicken, you do the same thing. You cut, move, prep that. You always separate it so that you have sanitary areas to work in. The simplest thing is, first of all, learn how to cook an egg. Whether you're frying or whether you're scrambling. If you can put an egg in a pan and don't burn it, then you can go for it. Just be mindful of your heat. It's just the same way with cooking vegetables. Don't overcook the vegetables. You don't want to cook the nutrients out of it. I didn't say they have to be raw, but you have to make it so that you can get flavor out of it. And cooking is easy. It's not hard. You have to make up your mind that you're going to do some. Frying chicken is one of the pet peeves that I have. Folk have to learn how to fry chicken. When you see the blood rise on the chicken, that means it's time to flip it. When you flip it on the other side, then when that chicken gets to its point, you can tell that it's ready, because it's going to plump up. And then when you cut it or break it or bite into it, you ain't seeing no blood, you seeing tender meat. So you got to be prepping for all of that. It's the same way with pork. You never overcook pork. You never overcook beef. Never overcook lamb. You always want your meat tender. And you don't have to really use a tenderizer. I know they've got all that stuff out, but I'm from the old school. If you do what you're supposed to do, it's very simple.